Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, reveal the books I bought this week, and somewhere on this episode is a mystery pop-up segment. Where will it be? Right here. Hey everyone, congratulations to the Indiana University Hoosiers. Last night, they won their first ever college football national championship by defeating the University of Miami Hurricanes 27-21. Congratulations to Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Fernando Mendoza, who was named the offensive player of the game. And congratulations to star defensive end Mikael Kamara, who was named the defensive player of the game. And congratulations to head coach Curt Cignetti, the rest of the coaching staff, the players, the support groups, the staff, the faculty at Indiana University, the alum, the fans, and the state of Indiana as a whole. And I just want to go ahead and say this, but I believe that Coach Cignetti deserves to be named Coach of the Year. When he came in, the season prior to coming in, Indiana was 3-8. But when he came in, they made an imminent impact. Went 11-2, but fell short of the national championship game. But this year, they completed the perfect season at 16-0. And then they also won the Big Ten championship. So really, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be named Coach of the Year. But Coach Cignetti, take a bow. You deserve this. And then the rest of the coaching staff and the players. And also the student athletic trainers. You all take a bow. All right, this is an Indiana University Comic Hero tee. If you like one, you can find them on the new home of Comic Hero merch, comicheroshop.myshopify.com for $20. All right, on my last visit to Excalibur Comics, in order to celebrate Indiana University, I decided to split the books in half. So this is the front half you're going to see. The back half you're going to see later on in the comic books I bought this week segment. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal these 6 books. So here we go. First up is Action Comics number 1094. Aquaman number 13. Avengers number 34, 800 overall. Oh, check it out. Double cover! Batman and Robin number 29. DCKO number 3. And finally, Doctor Strange number 2. All right, that's 6, which brings the total number of comics I've bought since December of 1997 to 14,311. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro.
One, two, three, four.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Whoa, the 550th episode. All I gotta say is, to God be the glory. Well, this month is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. Now, I'm going to touch base on that later on, but for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, on last week's episode, I asked, which Star Trek actor recently wrote a Superman-related 6-issue miniseries entitled Steelworks? Well, the correct answer is Michael Dorn. And 5 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their name's been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this episode of the show is Krista Little from Camden, Arkansas. So congratulations, Krista. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a comic book question. Which independent comic book company began as an act of rebellion by 7 artists looking to escape what they saw as unfair business practices at major publications? Was it A, Image Comics, B, Top Cow Productions, or C, Dark Horse Comics? All right, here's some hints to help. The first hint, this publication was founded in 1992 and has since become the 3rd largest comic book publication in America. The second hint, the 7 artists who founded this publication were Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Eric Larson, Jim Valentino, and Wiles Portacio. And then the third and final hint, books from this publication are Spawn, Savage Dragon, The Walking Dead, Monstrous, Invincible, Paper Girls, Saga, Radiant Black, Rogue Sun, and Inferno Girl Red. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Now, I hope y'all enjoyed that mystery pop-up segment that y'all saw, especially for all you Indiana Hoosier fans. Now, due to the length of it, I'm not going to feature a Throwdown Showdown segment or an Any Questions segment. I'm going to table that for the next episode. So with that being said, let's get to the comics I bought this week. Comic books I bought this week. All right, here we go. First up is Green Lantern Corps number 12. Space Ghost number 7. Supergirl number 9. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 14. The Ultimates number 20. And finally, The Uncanny X-Men number 22. Alright, that's 6, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 14,317. Alright, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, and here's a question for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Which independent comic book company began as an act of rebellion by 7 artists looking to escape what they saw as unfair business practices at major publications? Was it A, Image Comics, B, Top Cow Productions, or C, Dark Horse Comics? And here's some hints to help. The first hint, this publication was founded in 1992 and has since become the 3rd largest comic book publication in America. The second hint, the 7 artists who founded this publication were Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Eric Larson, Jim Valentino, and Wiles Portacio. And then the third and final hint, books from this publication are Spawn, Savage Dragon, The Walking Dead, Monstrous, Invincible, Paper Girls, Saga, Radiant Black, Rogue Sun, and Infernal Girl Red. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tea on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Crystal Little from Camden, Arkansas, who won a free tea on this episode. All right, this month is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. Now, cervical cancer is cancer that starts in the cells of the cervix, which is the lower, narrow end of the uterus. Majority of cervical cancer is caused by a virus called human papillomavirus, or HPV. HPV spreads through sexual contact with a person who already possesses it. Not all types of HPV cause cervical cancer. Some of them cause genital warts, but other types may not cause any infections. Symptoms of cervical cancer are bleeding from the vagina, painful sex, abnormal vaginal discharge, and pain in the lower belly. Now, there are 4 types of cervical cancer. The first is stage 1, which is cancer that is constrained to the cervix. Then there's stage 2, which is when the cancer is spread past the cervix, but hasn't reached the pelvic wall. Then there's stage 3, which is when it's spread to the pelvic wall and has caused problems in the kidneys. Then there's stage 4, which is spread to the bladder, rectum, and different parts of the body. Now, diagnosis involves screening tests. These screening tests are pap smear, X-ray, CT scan, HPV DNA testing, cone biopsy, punch biopsy, endocervical curettage, magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI. Now, there are less than 200,000 cases per year in America, which makes it rare. But I personally know someone who had cervical cancer. They beat it, but at a very heavy cost. She had to have a hysterectomy, meaning that she cannot have children. And if you're watching this and you have cervical cancer, you have beaten cervical cancer, or if you're the family of someone who is no longer with us due to complications of cervical cancer, I love y'all, and this episode is for y'all. All right, this is a Cervical Cancer Awareness Comic Hero tee. If you would like one, you can find them on the new home of my merch, which is comicheroshop.myshopify.com for $17. All right, here's the road ahead for the show. On next week's episode, episodes 551 through 553 rather, I'm celebrating Mardi Gras, y'all. This entire desk is going to be decked in Mardi Gras decor. I'm going to bring back the Mardi Gras tree, and I'm going to wear Comic Hero tees in observance of Mardi Gras. Now, Mardi Gras, the colors of Mardi Gras are green, gold, and purple. And they all represent 3 different principles. Green represents faith, gold represents power, and purple represents justice. And I'm going to touch on those on each episode. And I'm also going to give y'all a little Mardi Gras trivia. And then on episode 554, I'm celebrating Black History Month. And on episode 555, I'm raising awareness of heart health. Now, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And as soon as you're done, hit subscribe. If you're watching this on the Comic Book Lovers Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. And if you're watching this on the Louisiana Delta Content Careers Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. Oh, and share. Please, sir, please, ma'am, share. Get the word out. I can't do it alone. I'm going to need some help. All right, I'm Victor Noli. I'm the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for the first episode of the first of 3 Mardi Gras episodes, which is episode 551. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero!
Yeah.